morning, as I read in my scriptures, I read a story that I've read many times, and today it just hit me, and I learned so much, and I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you. We're all familiar with the story of Moses. I know at least I've been. Recently, as I've done my genealogy, and I've seen that I'm a literal descendant of Aaron, the story just resonates differently, much more impactfully and profoundly. And so, as I read, I considered a lot of things that are parallel, at least have been parallel in my experience, and probably in many of yours. So Moses, he goes up on the mountain, and he has an experience with God, right? The burning bush. And he has this experience with the Lord, and then the Lord gives him a commandment, go to the Pharaoh and, do these things. And Moses was nervous. He was scared. And the Lord was like, pick up the staff or the rod and throw it on the ground. Boom. Turns into a serpent. He picks it back up, turns into a rod. And the Lord is like, now put your hand inside your cloak and then take it out. And it's like diseased and dying, decaying. And then he says, put it back in. Pull it back out, and it's made whole again. Powerful manifestations of God's miraculous power, right? So he has these experiences. He witnesses these miracles and tokens of God being with him. And then he still doubts Moses, right? Moses still doubts. He still fears what could happen. He's like, man, who am I to do this? Like, I'm slow of speech. I have a stammering tongue. Can't find the words to speak. And the Lord's like, don't worry. I will be your mouthpiece. I'll put my words in your mouth. I've got you. And still Moses doubted. He was like, I don't know. And this seems really hard. And then the scriptures say that the Lord's anger was kindled towards Moses because he doubted, right? And then the Lord's like, it's all good. Meet Aaron out in the wilderness. He's going to be your mouthpiece. And then you will be to him what I am to you. Right? So the Lord speaks to Moses, and Moses delivers that to Aaron. Aaron delivers it to the people, or to Pharaoh in this case. And the Lord's like, I want you to go, and I want you to demand that he let my people go into the wilderness for a few days to make a sacrifice and worship me. The Pharaoh wasn't having it, right? And so because of Pharaoh's pride, he's like, you know what? How dare you try me? Like, I'm Pharaoh. Who is your God? And then he doubles and increases the workload upon the Hebrews, the Israelites. And initially, like, Moses and Aaron go to the Israelites, and he rallies them. They have a rah-rah, and they're like, yeah, the Lord's going to deliver us. And then when Moses and Aaron go before Pharaoh, that wasn't exactly the case yet. Like, the Lord, knew that it was going to take the 10 plagues, or however many there were, and that it would take time. But Moses, he had, I guess, an expectation of the way the Lord's promise would be made manifest. He expected, to be able to go forward because the Lord was with him, and he had all this, all of these manifestations. He expected to go forward and to everything to just tick, fall in line. But that wasn't the case, because that wasn't the Lord's will. The Lord wanted him to go and to say these things. And so Moses goes, says these things, and then after Pharaoh increases the workload on the children of Israel, they didn't want to listen to what Moses had to say anymore, because they were like full of anguish and grief because their burdens were so much heavier now that they were experiencing the favor of God. God was going to deliver them, but not the way that everyone expected. And that's a powerful pattern that I've recognized in my life. Sometimes the Lord has given me promises that I thought should come to fruition a certain way or at a certain time. And when they didn't come to pass the way that I thought that they should, the enemy used that experience to try to sow seeds of doubt into my mind. And I'm sure that he does that with all of us. So I would encourage you to trust in the Lord. Even when things aren't working out the way you think they should be, trust that he has a plan. He told us in Jeremiah 29:11, he says, I have a plan to prosper you, to give you an expected end. Like, he knows the end from the beginning, and what we experience in this life gives us opportunities to develop trust in the Lord, to develop and exercise our faith and our courage to be able to stand up. Something that always happens to prophets or prophetic people is they go through tough times. They have everything stripped from them, and that's the refiner's fire. Because when we are stripped of everything from this world, all that's left is the Lord. And we realize that he's all that there ever was. He's all that we've ever needed. And if we could just learn to let go of our expectations and just trust that the Lord has got us and look for the good. What the devil means for evil or for misery, the Lord works out for his own good. I love you, and I hope you're encouraged, and I pray that the Lord pour out his peace and his love and his blessings upon you today.